Richard Geller here. So what's the story about debt settlement companies? As I've been telling you for some time, there's a lot more to this story than there appears to be. The New York Times just published an article about debt settlement companies. If you read it carefully, you're going to find out what I've been telling you all along. And that is that debt settlement companies are primarily a way to get people separated from even more of their money. Let me explain what they do. They get you to sign up, and generally you'll pay a percentage of the amount of money that they, quote, save you. But here's the secret they don't tell you, and that the New York Times does tell you, and that I've been telling you for the last 2 years. And that is that if you have trouble making your payments, and if you need to get something done about it, the banks will actually offer to settle with you. They'll settle with you. Sometimes they'll start out with 30% or 40% or 50% less than what you owe. You don't need to do anything to get those kinds of settlements, quite often. And all the debt settlement companies is, they collect a big fat deposit from you, then they just string things along too often. And then what they do is, they simply get the standard computerized letter from the bank, and they act like big heroes that they've settled your debt. Now, if the debt settlement companies could stop you from getting all the nasty collection letters and stop you from getting all the phone calls at dinner from collection agents from the banks, then I would say, well, they're serving a purpose. But the reality is this. Do you really think that the banks are going to stop calling you and stop sending you collection letters just because you've engaged a debt settlement company or even a law firm? I think not. The fact is that they'll call you all the time, they'll nag you, you're not going to be able to answer your phone, you're going to get piles of mail that's going to be, nasty letters from collection agencies and from the collection departments of banks and from the lawyers. That's just the reality of it, whether or not you fork over thousands of dollars to a debt settlement company. Now, if you learn how to settle your own debts, it's very simple to do. You'll still get those letters and those phone calls, but you'll settle with them. And here's the key. You can settle quite often for much less than what the debt settlement companies will get, because they're just going to basically just take the easiest way out. They're going to get this easiest offer, and then they're going to say, oh, look what we got you. If you use my system, quite often you can get settlements as little as a dime on the dollar. If you get a dime on the dollar settlement, you're really talking about a huge savings. You can get your life back. Instead of just paying all your excess money to the credit card companies, you can now start thinking about paying for your kids' tuition without loans. Think about having money set aside for retirement. Think about having money saved up in case you or your partner gets sick. Start affording maybe a vacation without putting it on plastic. So that's a terrific feeling. You can do this, and there's one more plus to doing it yourself. The debt settlement companies, they don't care about your credit report. They don't care about your credit score or your FICO score. But if you do the dime on the dollar system that I teach, you can actually oftentimes get a better credit score in the end than you would have had. Your credit score will take a huge dive while you're in the settlement process. But if you follow a certain program, which is in my course, very simple, you'll learn how to raise that score back up, in some cases even higher than it was before. In fact, it could be higher than it's been in a long time. And you learn that because as part of the process of settling the debts, you actually get the lenders to agree to remove derogatory items on your credit or change those derogatory items into less derogatory items. And the system doesn't rely upon their goodwill. It's sort of like an iron fist, okay? So that's what's in the program. I do want you to now think about this. If you haven't already, what you should do is go to www.debtworkoutcoach.org, and there's a couple of videos there, other videos. And if you're watching this on YouTube, go to debtworkoutcoach.org. Look at the videos there that give you a lot more information that are not on YouTube. If you're watching this video on another blog or somewhere else, debtworkoutcoach.org. And make sure you put in comments, and I'll try to answer as many as I can. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.